I set up like sort of like this dating triangle, right, here in Los Angeles, where getting the girl to commit to the first date, right? And I'll say something like, "Hey, there's this great XYZ place, like the Ghost of Marilyn Monroe, visits there. Great drinks, great apps, whatever. Get her out, sitting in some sort of like really comfortable private couch where we'll just get a little bit private talking and start to escalate a little. Now, if there's more than just kissing, like, let that happen, but I'm not gonna press it, right? This is the first sort of like 30 minutes. And then be like, hey, there's a poolside, beautiful tiki torches, DJ, and then I'm gonna move her, right? It's like, down the steps to the poolside, go use the restroom, step out. And as I'm waiting for her, I'll just like listen to the music and I'll just sort of like bebop. It's kind of like dance. And the idea is like I'm sexualizing myself so that when she sees me, first time coming out of the restroom, like confident, I'm cool by myself, and hopefully she sees me in a sexual light, right? There, half the time a girl will come up behind me, wrap her arms around me, and I know at that point she's thinking like sexual thoughts, right? And then we'll sit down, little cabana, very private. Now, if we haven't like kissed, now we'll go for that, right? Start to get a little bit more hot and heavy, deeper emotional connection. And then I'll drop the bomb. Like usually early in text, like I said earlier, I'll have texted them, hey, send a picture of my dog. It's like, hey, lady says that friends don't let friends drink and drive, right? So I've already seen the dog, see if she's a dog person. It's like, hey, would you like to meet the cutest dog in all of Los Angeles? Of course, they're going to say yes. I'm like, all right, she's over there. Let's go. It's literally within walking distance. I'm like in the heart of Hollywood. Very easy. So that's my triangle. And it's like go to like, I even heard like, celebrities, like a hockey player got caught for having his own little triangle where the girls figure out like exactly which restaurant, which bar, and like the apartment building he was living in. So figure out your logistics. Logistics is half the battle. Amateurs study tactics, but experts study logistics. So anyways, guys, hope that was helpful. I'm going to sign off now. All right. Great
See you,
advice, great
JT.
content for everybody. Thank you,
See you,
and thank you,
brother.
Ice.
Thanks.
Later,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, very good.
Uh,
Thanks, brother.
Gentlemen, there's a book Ryan Terabin just came out with called "The Value of Others." He has some really great advice, and one of the things I love that he says is he goes, a date is a meetup and an opportunity for sex. If a girl is like, hey, let's meet up at noon, an hour away from your place for coffee, that's a meetup, but it's not an opportunity for sex. So just like what JT says, I think if you guys wanted to have sex earlier in the interaction, like for instance, I'm going out this week with these two girls are going on a date with me, and we're meeting at Katana, which is across the street from the Mondrian in Los Angeles. So I specifically picked a restaurant that's across the street from where I'm staying. And then there's also like a huge party that we're doing on Thursday, this huge breast cancer charity at the Sky Bar. And then I have a room overlooking the Sky Bar. So logistics are incredible. Like logistics are so good that a lot of times when a girl goes on a date with you, she'll know if she isn't going to have sex with you. I ask girls on my show on Access Vegas, I'm like, ladies, how many of you have gone on a date with a guy you knew you weren't going to have sex with him? And all of them raised their hand. At some point, they had done that once, which is crazy. It's very foreign to a guy. But a lot of times, if your logistics are good and your game is good, you can take a woman who like had no intent, not she didn't want to have sex with you, but she had no intention of having sex with you. And then she's like, her buying temperature and her state is so pumped up that she ends up having sex with you because she's having such a great time. There's this massive state break that happens when you go from the fun location to the hour-long drive back to your ranch. The hour-long drive, you go from the strip in Las Vegas to the 45-minute drive to like Red Rock Canyon. Like I logistics are so incredibly important. When in my bedroom, if I open up the blinds, I can see Aria, Cosmopolitan, Bellagio. I can see the wind from my bedroom. And so a lot of times a girl is like, it's this one of these things where like she feels safe. She's like, oh, my friends are over here at this place, and I'm just right there. So logistics are really, really important, and they can actually trump a lot of times game when it comes to the late game, when it comes to closing. So I would recommend logistics. And the other thing is this one, man. A lot of these guys are asking this question. Your apartment smells like Chipotle. You have fucking weird ass bowls of nasty shit all over the place. You cooked beans and bacon and fucking eggs. It smells like egg farts in your apartment. You have a roommate who cooks he's like eating paleo. He's like training for a workout thing, and he cooks the nastiest smelling shit right before the girls come over. You got cats or dogs that peed and poop in your apartment. You can't smell the shit anymore. Your room is not made up. You have fucking like bottles of half drink bottles of water and energy drinks all over your apartment, along with, like I said, like bowls of food and takeout shit, like bags full of trash in your apartment. That's the and so two things are happening. If a girl comes over, she doesn't want to fuck, but also in your mind, you know your apartment isn't ready for fucking. So you don't bring girls back because you aren't ready, because you didn't mentally prepare yourself for that thing. I leave here, my apartment looks like a fucking US military sergeant. When I leave, we're ready for when she comes back. And if I even have my neighbor, I'll tell him, be like, hey, light all the candles in my apartment before it comes over. I got a lighting set up. You can see the whole strip of Las Vegas. If you don't mentally, the part of making your bed is you mentally are preparing yourself to bring girls home. I had one client, he was staying with me for a while, and he was having troubles. Like, yeah, I'm not bringing these girls home. And I went out with him one time, and I was like, there's no problem with the game. And then I looked in his room, and there's just shit everywhere. And I was like, you know, you can't pull a girl home, so you leave your room looking like shit. That's another big issue. You're not mentally preparing yourself for success, because your place is not ready for your apartment is not the fuck zone. You know it isn't, and you're either mentally sabotaging yourself, or because you know you're not setting your place up for success. You know you can't pull a girl back anyway.